Hello, I'm Blaine Oliver, and I've been trading for the last 5 years. Through realizing how stupidly lost most of the people are in the stock markets and trading game, I then decided to stop listening to them and became self-taught in the markets. Through my experience, I realized that the financial rehashed garbage information that so many people are subjected to just didn't work. The results were inconsistent, and it just felt like the blind were leading the blind. So I said, I'm not going to make that my reality. Instead, what I'm going to do is figure out how this operation works for myself, which is something I did. So through the school of hard knocks and learning all the ways not to trade, I came to the realization that there's something that the current financial education setup is overlooking, and that is to go beyond trading, which is something that I found to be quite significantly more powerful than anything I had seen the guys speak about. So I went into my intuition and I just dove deep into the mystics. I studied guys like W.D. Gann, time cycles. I spent a lot of time going far and wide, far further than most traders are willing to go, namely numerology, astrophysics, quantum, and just seeing how that energy resonated in the markets. So I then created the system that worked for me, and it worked really well. And through that, I realized, especially with the pandemic and all these sort of things, that if the information out there is so poor and the stats are said to be correct, aka 95% of traders fail, then it's almost somehow my responsibility to teach what I know so that others can get ahead as well. And thankfully I did, because I've touched over 250 lives around the world, and you'll see in the testimonials how what I've accomplished is really changing the way not only in which they trade the markets, but it also must obviously upskill them from the technical perspective, but it is the confidence and patience and the power that they now have to dominate whichever market they choose and do not once or twice, but months and years, decades to come. What I'm really proud of about this is it's something that it can be like taught down the family line. So for those who've lived a very difficult life, they now have the option to break free of the rat race and actually start living life on their own terms. Okay, this is just an overview of what the course will look like. When I say look like, in my teaching for over a year now, I've met people from, like I said, from the far ends of Australia to literally Hawaii and every time zone in between. I've got to understand how people learn, what works for them, and how to structure things so that it's digestible, simple to follow, and applicable to their lives. This is an overview of what that looks like. I currently have a course available. Let's have a look over here. I think I went the wrong direction. Do you have a course available? Over here, that's better. Where the technical analysis is covered in depth, and we have a well explained. So I do have a course available that's 20 videos long. We jump into how the markets work, the market structure, how to forecast a price before it happens, and that's all available immediately. However, right now, I've come to realize that to really succeed in the market, we aren't necessarily just going to focus on technical anymore or the correct way in which to trade, but we're going to bring it all together where it's holistic. Many guys will learn from experience how difficult it is to overcome the mindset that one needs in the markets, because most guys get so excited about just jumping in, making profit, quitting the jobs, changing their lives, and they want to do so in 2 weeks. Obviously, that's never going to work out, and it'll never be sustainable, even if they have beginners. So through losses, many then come to realize that they have to master the mindset before jumping into the winner's circle from the markets. So with that in mind, even though all of the technical analysis and the correct way in which to trade is all available immediately, I've now broken into the course from a objective learning standpoint, and it's going to be broken into 3 segments. Number 1 being to stop losing. So this is mastering the mind. And inside here, there is the mindset in which to win, the difference between an employee and an investor, and how the switch needs to happen, because the way in which one approaches the market will change. Trade plan, which is provided, a discipline, which is going to bring apart a different approach to the market than typically experienced for most guys. We have the paper trading first. We've got partners with institutional funds providers, and I like to mentally prepare my traders to work with the big numbers. So $200,000 accounts, $400,000 accounts, that gets taught into the course, and more on that a bit later. And then, of course, the stop loss, where to put it, how to... So stop losses are funny things. Anyway, that all gets covered. And then the patience, persistence, and the practice of how to maintain in a certain mind frame to solve the markets, win at the markets, and continue to win on the market. So that will be the first segment. Then we have the generation of extra income. So again, what guys don't realize is that trading and making money from the markets comes in stages. So you first sort out your disciplines to see what's blocking you, what limitation beliefs are there, what needs work. And then through practice, you'll get to have the markets become a master. Like, they'll teach you what you need to advance in. Okay, so that's segment 1. Segment 2 is to simply generate additional income. That's to bring in supplementary income into what already is. Okay. And many don't realize how powerful it is, really, because everyone's after this passive income dream. There's no such thing as passive income, in my opinion. It's active income. There is no such thing as passive income. And if there is, then I haven't seen it. So when it comes to this environment, we want to just reduce the anxiety and pressure and that general feeling of fear that most families are feeling right now, of gas prices going up, inflation going up, all the things going wrong, everything's more expensive, and so on and so forth. So when you are bringing in an additional $2,000 at the end of the month, or another $5,000 at the end of the month, it curves the anxiety down a little bit, and it gives most guys a sense of control and content when facing the end of the month. Realistically, what I want my guys to do is just generate predictable and, I'd say, confidence generating profits to a point where it's just easy to win. And you'll be able to, and anyone who takes the course will be able to do that over here. So you'll forecast the MTOPS way. Again, I'm self-taught, so I've redesigned how students should approach the markets, and your mind will be blown, man. Once you dive into this, it's spooky. It's really freaky stuff. You get overwhelmed a little bit and excited, because so many guys have gone about it the wrong way for so long. I'm talking like decades incorrectly. And now you're like one of the few who've really got power and vision into how the markets operate. So it's amazing. So we're going to work with market structure, cycles, trends, quadrants, turning points, and we're going to keep it there. So the first major objective for our traders is just to bring in those numbers. Okay, so you'll be forecasting with what you're going to learn, trading with trend strictly, and knowing how to do so responsibly, knowing your numbers. A lot of guys walk into this arena and they have no idea what their metrics are. Like a salesperson, every company needs a salesperson, right? A salesperson who goes into a company and doesn't know his success or his session numbers is doomed to fail. How many leads, how many cold calls, how many meetings? That person's got to know their numbers to set up their best case scenario to close the deal, and how many deals a week they need to bring in the annual target or to keep their job, to keep the business going. So traders don't know the numbers. They don't know the win-loss ratios. They don't know their risk-reward ratios. They don't know when to trade, when not to trade. So we teach that step by step. Okay. Trading responsibly, once again, too many guys go too big too soon, and they do so out of ignorance. And we say why it's a problem, how to fix it, and how to turn that into a strength. So trading responsibly will be inside this environment. And of course, replacing the income with trading is a segment I'm not going to divulge the contents of, because that's the big one right there. That's the masterclass. That's the life changes. These two sections rather will be the two sections that all my students will need to master before they have access to the big leagues. So the big leagues, I'm going to give you a bit of a sample of over here. And this is a trading system that I've developed with my very good friend who's a 15-year long full stack developer in Europe. So I'm just admiring a Bitcoin price move over here that's been really gorgeous right there. Okay, so what you're looking at right now is what we've built from the ground up. The reason why we had to build it up from scratch is because the tools out there are underwhelming, to say the least. I've had to deal with such substandard software and trading solutions that I almost was reduced to tears out of frustration on how inefficient it was. So I partnered up with my friend. We built this to overcome all of the challenges in which traders have to feel on a day-to-day basis, and just turned it into something that is great to use, and it's fun, and it's just produces results. It's fluid, it's lightweight, yet simple, powerful, and effective. We've taken the most influential factors of a market, focused on that, and then built around that so that our traders can deliver time and time again. So this is very exclusive to us, of course. And just to give you a quick understanding of what you're looking at over here, underneath my face over there, you've got our patent pending TTI indicator. It's a trend transition indicator. This works with the correctly set trend information from all the higher frames. I'll take it a step back. Over here, we've got the higher frames. This is your dominant trend direction. So this is how I know what price will be doing months ahead of time. And then it just goes down as I need to get better clarity into what I'm seeing in the now moments, the now energy of the market. So this will all be taught, and we get, wow, that's a very clean turn actually. Once you get to work with this yourself, you'll wonder how this is all possible, that we're able to attain the results that we do, because the way in which we do this, working with the laws of energy and things you're going to learn, is just like mind-blowingly spooky. It's crazy, man. I'm excited for anyone who hasn't learned this yet, because this is like a aha moment, like, what? I can't believe this is happening. Wow. And you just feel like from your heart space, like everything's about to change, because it's so exciting. But again, you have to check it out for yourself. I'll start up over here. So these are different frames. You'll notice that the numbers are different to what you've seen typically anywhere else. There's no 4 hour here. There's no 1 day here. So we've eradicated all of the bullshit that the typical trading setups have provided. The 4 hour makes no sense. The 1 day makes no sense. The lower frames in terms of the 15 minutes, that makes no sense. So we've washed away the nonsense, and we've obviously only kept what works best. And I'll explain to you in the course, on my chest, as to why they're so important. Okay, these time frames. So over here, we now got movement to the upside. And basically what I've been doing is, in this little area here, I've been populating these little arrows. Now you can see that these are all pushing to the upside. So that means that we are got Bitcoin's having a big pull to a bullish environment, which means we buy low, sell high, and do so over and over again, because the energy is there, and that's where we can make that big profit. So that's the TTI trading and trend. We've got some rule disciplines over here that I'll talk to once you're obviously in the course. And in terms of risk reward management, we've got a great setup over here. This is all set up so that it's copy and paste technology. So you can put that straight into your MetaTrader application, pardon me, or Binance or Stocks or whatever broker you use. It's a simple copy and paste into whichever environment you need to send it to. The entry positions over there, we typically go with market order, but that's there in case anyone wants to do pending orders. And then you've got your targets. So this is risk reward. 1 is to 1, 1 is to 1.5, and 1 is 2. And they will all be given to you, all based on the energy correctly set of what the market is willing to do next. So over here, moderate is already been hit, if I'm not mistaken. Actually, no, the safe would have been hit over here, and then that will be moderate, and this will be max, and it will teach you as to when or which needs to be used. So you can really optimize that profit, okay? So that's all there. In terms of the criterion, these are the top influences in a market. Many people don't even know this environment. A lot of the stuff has been exclusively discovered from me because I'm deeply researched and I haven't seen anyone come close to what we have over here. So with that said, you systematically look at these different components. For example, the top 4 over here are the market structure. So trend direction, turning point spacing, which you'll learn, the scaling. A lot of guys in the GAN world don't understand how to correctly scale. So their tools are pointless because if you're putting down diagonal lines and that kind of thing, if you haven't got a correctly scaled chart, pretty useless. So we've built all of that stuff in. So where the industry has fallen short, we've cleaned up around. And the saving over here goes to a decentralized server in Germany so that you can have multiple devices operating at the same time. You don't have to click save, it all saves all for you. Like, we've really gone deep into what a trader needs and built around that. Kill zone you'll learn about. A lot of guys don't understand that. They don't know the law of alternation. Like, there's just, I feel empathy for those who don't understand what we understand because it's so hard making it on the market. You have no idea how they operate, and thankfully we do. I don't want to ramble on too long about that because it's all covered in the course. And yeah, these are the tools just to influence how this all operates. And it's fascinating once you get into it. Again, we've built our system around the needs of a trader because I know what it's like to not be correctly taken care of whilst trading and then have that frustration just pull me down, like that disheartened feeling and that discouragement of not having the correct tools to break on. I do have it's a nice little run over here. What's nice about my work is that I'm able to explain what is happening, why it's happening, and what's going to happen next across all markets, across all time frames. Most of the idiots out there have no clue. When you ask them about a shape or an oscillator or anything, they're like, I don't know, I learned it somewhere. Like, I can tell you what's happening, why it's happening, and what's going to happen next, time and time again. Like, to be quite frank, and I'm going to end the video off now because I know we've broken the 20-minute mark. I'm bored of winning because I can profit on command. As long as the markets are at a parameter in which I need, for example, over here, what I would want is for the price to exit this kill zone, which I'll teach you guys about, and move in the right direction. That alone says there's just tons of profit coming in. And you can tell today, this was a revenge trade. I just want to get that out the way. See, everything is sell. This buy was out of frustration. I was working on the Dow Jones today. A very difficult day on the markets. This is like a trader's nightmare on the market. So you can see how messy that all is. And I clocked in $6,000, almost $2,000, almost $4,000, rounded down to another $4,000, another rounded down to $4,000. All time is stamped over here within half an hour. But yeah, I don't know how I did that. I don't even know how I could do that. Okay, so yeah, I feel like I'm going to start to ramble, which I don't think I want to do anymore. If there is any questions, please feel free to email me or reach out to me. I hope you enjoy what you've seen. And quite frankly, if you don't join and continue to trade without the knowledge of what I've discovered, then the losses that are coming your way are deserved, because the information is now available. That's been put into an education style setup. The software has been provided, and guys are absolutely winning. There is, just by the way, the communities and everything that you can get into. If you go into testimonials, I can bring you in and just scroll through. You can just see the wins and the praise and thank you so much. And Josh bought himself a monster truck from his earnings. I can go on forever. Like I said, it gets crazy when you're this good, in the sense that people's lives are changing. Look at that performance over there. And yeah, I can't believe the success. Like, guys are just winning. The lives are changing. And I strongly recommend anyone who's serious about the space to come and join us, because yeah, we're changing the game. All right, that's it for me. If you have any questions, reach out. Until then, I look forward to having you on board. Ciao.